Welcome to the press conference to update everyone on where we are at as it relates to COVID-19 and the city of Spencer and our area. I wanted to visit with everyone, so there's been some changes that the governor has put in place that will go into effect tomorrow, May 1st. Just wanted to review those with you, and then we're going to go to some questions I think that have been submitted, as well as any questions that might come up live. So as it relates to restaurants, we are in a county that the governor did open up. I believe there was between 70 and 80, 72 maybe counties, 77 counties that have been opened up a little more on the restrictions. And so with restaurants, just wanted to talk to everyone to let them know what they can expect to experience if they go into a restaurant that has chosen to open back up. So the seating capacity will be limited to 50% of its normal operating capacity. Number two, groups will be limited. The restaurant must ensure that no group of customers is seated together in the restaurant larger than 6. Social distancing, the restaurant must ensure at least 6 feet of physical distance between each group. Number 4, self-service prohibited. So this means the restaurant must not have any self-service of food or beverages, including buffets and salad bars. Number 5, social distancing, hygiene, and public health measures. The restaurant shall also implement reasonable measures under the circumstances of each restaurant to ensure social distancing of employees and customers, increased hygiene practices, and other public health measures to reduce the risk and transmission of COVID-19, consistent with the guidance by the Iowa Department of Inspections and Appeals and the Iowa Department of Public Health. As it relates to fitness centers, they're also allowed to open back up May 1st under the following restrictions: 50% capacity. Social distancing, the establishment must ensure that all equipment such as treadmills, bikes, weight machines, benches, and power racks are spaced at least 6 feet apart, or take other appropriate measures to ensure that more closely spaced equipment is not used. 3, group activities. Any group or class must be limited to 10 or fewer people, and they must maintain a distance of 6 feet apart at all time. And 4, social distancing, hygiene, and public health measures, just like the restaurants. Libraries. A library may reopen provided that it limits the number of patrons to 50%. In Spencer, we are going to modify that a little bit. We're going to extend the closure of the library. We'll talk more about this at the city council meeting on Monday, but we're entertaining some ideas of how to get materials out to people that could stop curbside. Racetracks or speedways, other than a track conducting horse or dog race, may reopen, provided that the spectators meet the social distancing requirement. And other retail establishments may open up. I want to read what the governor wrote. A retail establishment that was previously ordered to be closed statewide is now ordered to be closed only in certain counties. We are not in a county where it's to be closed. Otherwise, we may reopen and present up to 50% of its legal capacity and implement measures under circumstances that each establishment maintains social distancing of employees and customers, increased hygiene practices, and other measures to reduce the transmission of COVID-19. Bars shall remain closed under the current order. Theaters shall remain closed. Casinos and gaming facilities closed. Social and fraternal clubs closed. Senior citizen centers and adult daycare closed. Amusements, bingo halls, etc., bowling alleys closed. Museums, aquariums, and zoos. Skate rinks, playgrounds, campgrounds, swimming pools, salons, barbershops, medical spas, tattoo establishments, tanning facilities, massage therapy establishments, and door-to-door sales are also forbidden and closed at this time. So with that, locally, you can expect, let me continue here, actually. Mass gatherings, religious events and gatherings are open. They must maintain the same restrictions, and we've heard from several local churches that I believe are going to maintain closing until June 1st, but under the governor's proclamation, they can be open. And farmers markets may be open with some restrictions, social distancing, hygiene, and so on and so forth related to that. Auctions are to remain closed, I believe. Is that right, Amanda? Auctions are to remain closed until May 15th. Election activities, they recommend voting absentee. And non-essential or elective surgeries may resume in the open counties. We are in an open county, but it is at the discretion of each local healthcare facility. So if you have an elective surgery that you want to have performed, make sure you contact your health provider first and see if the hospital of your choice is resuming those activities. And with that, I believe we will open it up to any questions. We do have a city council meeting Monday in which we will be going over Spencer-specific things related to the governor's orders. We're looking at taking a two-step approach, maintaining our current status through May 18th, which is our next council meeting, and then making a decision at that point to extend it to June 1st or take a different course of action. And so that's where we are. I know every day that we go through this, it becomes a little difficult and more strenuous. We appreciate everyone's patience with this. We do, of course, see in the Midwest now some hot spots that are popping up, typically around meatpacking facilities. In our region, identified by the state, Woodbury County is one of the hottest spots per capita in the country, and so we know people travel regionally, and while the weather's nice and the inclination is there to go out, recreate, and be more mobile, we still need to take COVID-19 very seriously. Want to remind everyone the CDC has recommended everyone wear masks in public, do everything you can to reduce the spread of the disease, and please stay vigilant during this time. We are still in an increased trend line. Part of that is due to increased testing, but we are not at a plateau and we are not declining. And so please pay attention and stay informed. And if you do go out and partake in those businesses that have opened back up, please be very respectful of the staffs. They're doing everything that they can to create a safe environment for you to be in. And likewise, as a patron, you need to take all the measures that you can to make sure that they stay safe as well. So I would encourage everyone, if you go out, please take the CDC recommended guidelines, maintain your social distancing, and respect the modifications that each business has put in place. And with that, we'll start to take questions. Or Amanda, if you have anything to add, of course.
Mayor, I was wondering if you could provide a little additional information on what the city's role in reopening parks, campgrounds, the aquatic center is.
Sure. Good question. So we are following the governor's orders. So our role, obviously, first and foremost, is to follow what the governor's orders are. Those are mandated closed, not by us. They're mandated closed by the state. Now, just as when the governor has opened up businesses, if she does rescind the closure of campgrounds, pools, playgrounds, that type of thing, we at the local level will then also make a decision if we're comfortable opening them back up or if we want to keep them closed. So right now at this time, they're ordered closed by the governor, and we are obviously have to honor that and enforce that.
Thank you. We did have a question. Are any of our restaurants opening?
Good question. I would assume the answer is yes. I've not directly talked to any of the restaurant owners, but I know previously during this time we were in contact with quite a few as they scaled down and had to close. But we did get clarification today that curbside pickup related to alcoholic beverages and being in containers and all of that is still in place, and so those opportunities are available if somebody still wants to dine at their favorite restaurant but not go inside the facility. As you have been dining in the previous weeks, those options are still open and available as ordered by the governor. And so we wish all the restaurants good luck as they open back up. We thank them for enduring the last almost 2 months of the COVID-19 pandemic and wish them the best of luck.
We don't have any additional questions at this time, so I'd like to make a comment on the elections. The county has sent out information to every resident of Clay County on how to request an absentee ballot, and they are strongly encouraging all registered voters to do so. So you can do that now and make sure your vote is counted. Mayor, I'm also wondering if you'd want to share a little bit of information. We've gotten some questions. If I live in Dickinson County, but I work in Spencer and I test positive, where does that get reported to?
Good question. Thank you, Amanda. So the way, when you go to the Iowa COVID resource page and you look up confirmed cases by county, those are by address of residential base. So if I live in County X and I work in County Y, it doesn't matter where I get tested, it doesn't matter where I became positive at, it's going to show up in the county I live in as a positive case. So locally, we live in Spencer. If I worked up in Spirit Lake, I got tested at the Spirit Lake Hospital, I'm going to come back as a positive Clay County case. And so regionally, we do see some of that where there have been positive workforce in surrounding counties that actually are in a different state, and those cases are counted in that state. They're not counted in the county in which they work. And so that's something important to remember. A lot of these questions come from workforce that travels, but also if somebody is traveling to another location and becomes ill and gets tested and quarantined and so on and so forth, that is going to pop up in the county in which they actually reside in as a positive case. So that's a good question. Also a reminder on taxes. So a couple different taxes: income taxes, sales tax, if you got that extended, if you're a business owner, as well as vehicle registration and licensing tags for your trucks, cars, so on and so forth. Those deadlines that they got extended initially, those are coming due. So pay attention. If it's taxes, make sure you talk with your accountant. If it's vehicles, I believe those are June. They got extended to June. Double check with the courthouse. And anything that got extended, please double check on. I know I read an article today that the PPP, I believe, is having another wave of openings, the payroll plan, and they're expanding the amount of eligibility as well. Sole proprietors and businesses of that nature that weren't necessarily eligible the first time will be this time. So stay in contact with your bankers and your accountants that you have on that information. What else? Anything else, Amanda?
Pork giveaway?
What's that?
The pork giveaway?
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. We have recently learned tomorrow at the fairgrounds, starting at 3 p.m., there's going to be an event, some local entities, SMU, I think Clay County Foundation, the Chamber Ag Committee, and Spencer Ag, I believe. And if I missed anyone, I apologize. Have been working with Tyson Foods, and we're doing a pork loin giveaway. So starting at 3 p.m. at the fairgrounds, there's about 10,000 pounds of pork that we're going to be able to give out to residents of Spencer. So it'll be very, very contained. You'll drive up, grab your pork loin, and drive out. So we really appreciate the efforts of those individuals to make that happen. It's something that they'd like to do again if they're able. So if you have a need, please make sure to show up out at the fairgrounds tomorrow. They're scheduled to go from 3 until 7, but when the pork runs out, they'll be finished.
And we did get confirmation during this event, actually, that the Spencer Farmers Market will resume June 6th. So again, maintain social distancing while you're there, and we wish all the vendors at the Farmers Market good luck.
I don't have anything else, Mayor.
All right. The next plan for a Facebook Live is going to be midweek next week. So we'll have our city council meeting on Monday. We'll go over some COVID things as well as our regular business. And then the governor's announcement on her next deadlines is May 15th. So depending on what she does, whether it's reducing restrictions or whether it's increasing restrictions, we want to follow up after what she says. So look for another Facebook Live event sometime after May 15th. Have a good night. God bless. Stay safe and stay healthy.